Hi guys, and welcome back. So today I thought that I would show you how to read a pattern, and we're going to do this together. So we're going to do the witchy cat hat. I'm not going to do the ears and eyes and stuff like that. I'm just going to show you how to do the hat, and then you can add whatever you want to this hat. I've already made one. So I did it in green so you guys can see instead of black. And then the back, this is where I connect it. And I'll show you how to do that at the end. Yeah, here's my little witchy hat. I think it turned out really, really cute. So this is about a small child size. So if we go back to the pattern, okay, let's see if I can zoom in here. So basically what it's telling us is that we're going to need one ball of black, and you're going to need pink and gray for the eyes and ears and stuff like that. It's saying to use a 5.5. I think it also depends on the yarn that you're using. I used an H hook for the green hat that I did. You're also going to need a yarn needle, so one of these guys, and then you're going to need your scissors, and you can use a stitch marker if you'd like. I don't use stitch markers, I just count. It tells you the gauge, just to make sure that you are getting the right size. So they suggest using the Red Heart Super Saver. So this pattern you can get for free off of Yarnspirations. So it is free, and I'll leave the link down below so you guys can go check it out and maybe follow along with me. So the directions are for size small. Changes for size medium, large, and extra large are in parentheses. So these guys right here is where it's going to change in the pattern. I'm going to follow the 16-inch one, which is the size of the green one that I did. And that doesn't start till you get onto page 2. So it starts right here. So for sizes medium, large, and extra large only, you're going to follow here. If you want for extra large only and large, you're going to follow this one. And then down here, for sizes small, medium, and large only rows, so this would just be the small one, and then this would be the medium and large. And then as you get up here, so this is extra large only, when you come to the brim, it gives you 4 different numbers here. This one is for the small, this one's for the medium, large, and extra large. So if you want to have it bigger, you're going to follow one of these numbers in the brackets. And then same down here, this is for the small, so 2 rows there, and then medium, large, and extra large. So let's get into the pattern and let's do this together. So I'm going to use, I love this yarn, and I'm always using this yarn. I just find it super, super soft. So I'm going to use the Bernat Premium in the color orange, just so you guys can see. But the pattern does say black. But it's totally up to you what color you guys want to use. Okay, so let's start with the pattern here. So we're going to start here with color A, which is black. We're going to chain 2. So we're going to do a slip knot. We're going to chain 2, 1, 2. Then it says work 6 single crochets in the second chain from the hook, and then turn. You should have 6 stitches. So here's our first chain that we made, and we're going to do 6 single crochets into that same loop. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm working over the tail. So 4, 5, 6. I'm going to pull that tail a little bit just to close that little gap. Okay, so that's 6 single crochets for row 2. Sorry, for row 1. So for row 2, we're going to chain 1, and then we're going to single crochet in each single crochet across, and then we're going to turn. So we need to turn, because it said on the first here, turn, and you have your chain 1 already. So now we're going to work into each of these loops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then it tells us that we need to turn, so we're going to turn, and then it wants us to repeat row 2, so we're going to chain 1, and we're going to single crochet into each stitch. So you should have 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So it should kind of look like a half circle here. So now for row 4, chain 1, 2 single crochets in each single crochet across, and then turn, and you should have 12 stitches. Okay, so we're going to turn our work again. We're going to chain 1, and then it's saying 2 single crochets in each stitch. So that's 2. I'm going to count as we go. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So it should look like that. So now we're going to go on to row 5 to 7, so that's 3 rows, and we're going to repeat row 2. So if you go back up to row 2, it's chain 1, single crochet in each stitch across, and turn. So for 3 rows, so we're going to turn our work, we're going to chain 1, and then we're going to single crochet into each stitch. Should have a total of 12 stitches, and you're going to do that for 3 rows. So I'm counting this as 5. When I chain and turn, I'm going to say 6. I'm going to chain and turn again, and that will be row 7. So make sure you guys are counting your stitches and making sure that you have 12. So that's row 5. Now I'm going to get you guys to do row 6 and 7 by yourself, where you're just chaining 1 and you're working across, chain 1, turn, and work across again. And you should have a total of 12 stitches. Okay, so I did my 3 rows of single crochet. So now if we look at row 8, it's saying chain 1, single crochet in the first single crochet, and then 2 single crochets in the next single crochet. This means that you're just going to repeat it. So 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet, 1 single crochet, 2 single crochets. So this is technically called an increase because we are making it bigger. So we're going to do 1 single crochet, and then we're going to put 2 in the next, and then we're going to do 1 single crochet and then 2 in the next. So repeat that pattern to the end. Make sure you chain and turn. Okay, so I finished row 8, and you should have ended up with 18 single crochets, and you should have also ended with a double in the last stitch there. So I've chained 1, I'm going to turn. So now it's saying for rows 9, 10, and 11, we're going to repeat row 2. So go back up to row 2, which is chain 1, single crochet in each single crochet across, and turn. So you're going to do 3 rows of single crochet, chaining 1 and turning at the end of each row. And you should have 18 stitches for each row. So do 3 rows of single crochet. Okay, so I did rows 9, 10, 11 of single crochet, and I chained 1 and turned. So now for row 12, we're going to chain 1. We're going to put 2 single crochets in the first single crochet. So in the first one here, so that's 1, 2, and single crochet in the next 2 stitches. And then it's asking for us to repeat that pattern all the way to the end. And then we're going to chain 1 and turn, or turn and chain 1, whatever you feel comfortable. I like to chain 1 and turn. So I did 2 single crochets. So now I'm going to put 1 single crochet in this stitch, 1 single crochet in this stitch, and then 2 single crochets in the next stitch. Okay, so 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2. So follow that pattern all the way to the end. Chain 1 and turn, or turn and chain 1, whatever you guys are comfortable with. Okay, so I finished row 12, and you should have 24 single crochets. And I didn't have a double because we had a double over here, so I just ended with 2 single crochets in the last 2 stitches. So I chained 1, I'm going to turn. So now for rows 13, 14, and 15, we're going to repeat row 2, which is again chain 1, single crochet in each stitch, in each single crochet across, and you're going to chain 1 and you're going to turn. So you're going to do that for 3 rows. So going into that first stitch, making sure you have 24 single crochets at the end of each row, and make sure you turn and chain 1. So I'll see you after you've done your 3 rows. So I finished my 3 rows of single crochet, and I've chained, and I'm going to turn. So now we're going to go on to row 16, which is the second page of the pattern, and you're going to chain 1, you're going to single crochet in the first 3 single crochets, and then you're going to put 2 single crochets in the next single crochet. and you're going to repeat this pattern all the way to the end. So we're going to go into that first stitch. So 1, 2, 3, and then you're going to do a double. Then you're going to do 1, 2, 3, then do a double. So this is another increase. So you're going to repeat that pattern all the way to the end, and you should have 30 stitches when you're done. So I finished row 16 and ended with 30 single crochets. I also ended with a double in the last stitch. So now for rows 17, 18, and 19, you're going to repeat row 2, which is chain 1, single crochet in each stitch across. And you're going to do that for 3 rows, making sure each row has 30 single crochets. And I will see you after you've completed your 3 rows. So I've completed rows 17, 18, and 19, and now we're going to go on to row 20. So for row 20, we're going to do another increase, which is chain 1. We're going to do 2 single crochets in the first single crochet, and then single crochet in the next 4 stitches, and you're going to repeat that pattern to the end. So into that first stitch, we're going to do 2 single crochets, and then we're going to work single crochet in the next 4 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to put in a double, and then we're going to do 4 single crochets in the next 4 stitches, and then you're going to put in a double. So repeat that pattern all the way to the end, and you should have 36 single crochet, or you should have 36 stitches at the end. So I've completed row 20, and you should have 36 single crochets. And as you can see, it's starting to get bigger and bigger. So now for row 21, 22, and 23, we're going to repeat rows 1, which is chaining 1 and doing single crochets in each of the stitches, having 36 at the end of each row. And you're going to do that for 3 rows. And I will meet you back here when you're done your 3 rows. Okay, so I finished row 21, 22, and 23. So now we're going to do an increase on this row. So for row 24, we're going to chain 1. We're going to single crochet in the first 5 single crochets. And then in the next single crochet, you're going to do 1 single crochet. So let's put 5 single crochets in the next stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we're going to put 2 single crochets in the same stitch. And then do 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then put 2 single crochets in the next stitch. So repeat that pattern all the way to the end, and you should have 42 single crochets. Make sure you chain 1 and turn at the end. Okay, so I completed row 24, and I have 42 single crochets, and I did end up with a double at the end, and I've chained 1 and turned. So now for rows 25, 26, and 27, we're going to repeat row 2. So I've already chained, so now I'm just going to do single crochet all the way across, and do that for 3 rows, making sure you still have 42 stitches at the end of each row. Okay, so now I've completed row 25, 26, and 27. So now we're going to go on to row 28. So we're going to do another increase. So we're going to chain 1. We're going to do 2 single crochets in the first single crochet. So into that first stitch, 1, 2, and then single crochet in the next 6 single crochets, or stitches if you call. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we're going to put 2 in the next stitch. So 1 and 2. So you're going to do 6 stitches and then 2 single crochets in the next stitch, and you're going to repeat that pattern all the way to the end, and you should have 48 stitches at the end. Make sure you chain and turn. Okay, so I've completed row 28 with 48 single crochets. So now looking at row 29, 30, and 31, you're going to chain 1 and do single crochet in each stitch across, and you're going to do that for 3 rows. Okay, so I completed row 29, 30, and 31 with 48 single crochets at the end. So if you wanted to just do the small hat, which is a little bigger than I could put on the camera, if you wanted to just do the small size, you would move over to down here for sizes small. You would repeat row 2 again. So you basically do 3 rows of single crochet for 48 single crochets. So in the brackets here, I don't know if you guys can see that. So this would be for the small. Now if you wanted to do medium, you guys would have to come up here and do these rows for medium, large, and extra large. But down here, after you finished row 39, you would come down here and do 40 and 41, 48 and 49 for medium and large only. If you wanted to do an extra large, then you would do 48, 49, 50, and 51. I'm going to do a medium since I've already done the small. I want to see how big the medium will be. So I've done rows 29, 30, and 31. So now I'm going to come down to the medium size here, and I'm going to do row 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, and 39. So I'm going to do chain 1. I'm going to do 7 single crochets in each of the next 7 stitches. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm going to do a double, and then 7 single crochets into the next 7 stitches, and I'm going to repeat this all the way to the end, and you should have 54 stitches if you guys are still continuing to follow me. If not, you guys can skip over to when I do the brim. So I've completed row 32 with the 54 single crochets. So now I'm going to do rows 33, 34, and 35 where I chain 1 and I do 3 rows of single crochet, 54 stitches. So going into that first stitch and doing 3 rows of 54 single crochet. So I finished row 33, 34, and 35 with 54 single crochets. So now I'm going to do row 36, and this is another increase, so you're going to chain 1 and then you're going to do 2 single crochets in the first stitch. So 1, 2, and then it tells you to do 8 single crochets in the next 8 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and in the next stitch you're going to put in 2 single crochets, so that's your increase, and then you're going to do 8 single crochets into the next 8 stitches. And you're going to repeat this pattern all the way to the end and have a total of 60 single crochets, and I'll meet you back when you're done. So I finished row 36. So now I'm going to do rows 37, 38, and 39, where I'm going to chain 1, and I'm going to do single crochet into each stitch, and you should have 60 single crochets, and you're going to do that for 3 rows. Make sure you guys are chaining 1 and turning at the end of each row, and I will see you when you are done. So I've completed rows 37, 38, and 39. So now, because we are doing the medium, so it basically wants us to repeat what we just did. So the 3 rows of 60 single crochet for rows 40, 41, so yeah, repeat row 2 for the medium size. So it looks like we're just doing 40 and 41, so 2 rows of 60 single crochet. And then we would be moving on to the brim. So another little fun tip that we can do is, so this is going to be the 2 last rows before we do the brim of the hat. So I'm actually going to add in black and do 2 rows in black. So what I'm going to do is that last row, I'm going to finish that last row with the black. Okay, make sure you're pulling it tight. And I'm going to do my chain 1. Okay, I'm going to cut off this orange. So for the medium size, we're just going to do row 40 and 41. So 2 rows of single crochet of 60 stitches. Making sure you guys are chaining 1 and turning. Once you have the 2 rows done, we'll meet back here and we will do the brim. Okay, so I finished my 2 rows of 60 single crochet. So that was rows 40 and 41. So now we're going to move over to the brim. So if you were doing this small, you would be on row 33, but we're on medium, so we're on to row 42. So this one, we are going to do chain 3, and it counts as your first double crochet here and throughout. So we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Now it says working in back loops only, double crochet in first single crochet. So in the back loops, so you have 2 loops. So this is the first double crochet they're talking about, okay, right here. So there's 2 loops on the top. We're going to go into that back one. So I hope you guys can see that. So into that back loop only, okay? So yarn over first, into that back loop, pull in, pull through 2, pull through 2. So that's 2 double crochet into the first stitch there. So now you're going to yarn over and you're going to do 2 double crochet in every stitch across in the back loops only. So make sure you're putting 2 in each loop. Looking at the pattern here, if you were doing small, you would have 96 double crochets. We're doing medium, so we should have 120 double crochets at the end of this row. And I will see you when you are done. Okay guys, I'm back from doing my double crochet. Look how cute this ruffle is. Oh my gosh, it's so cute. Okay, so now we're on to row 43 and 44. So what we're going to do is we're going to chain 3. We're going to double crochet in each double crochet across, and we're going to turn. So for the smalls, you're on to row 34 and 35. And then for medium, we're doing 43 and 44. So for 2 rows, we're going to be doing double crochet in each stitch across. So let's chain 3, 1, 2, 3, yarn over, going through both loops this time into that first stitch there, and into each stitch across, going through both loops. We're not going through the back loops anymore. So you're going to do this for 2 rows and you should have a count of 120 double crochets. So I finished my 2 rows of double crochet. So that was for row 43 and 44. So I'm going to finish the pattern here. You can make the ears and the nose and the eyes if you'd like to. I'm not going to do them for this video. I am going to show you how to sew it up because on here it doesn't tell you where to sew it up together or whatnot, so I'm going to do that with you guys. So I'm going to leave a long tail. And I'm going to pull this loop through. Kind of give it a little tug. Now with our tapestry needle, see if I can zoom in here. Okay, our tapestry needle, we're gonna thread it through. Okay. So we're gonna put the two, so you can see here, I don't know if you can see it on mine, but you can kind of see the loops of the brim. I want that to be on the inside of the hat. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to turn this around. I'm going to put the good side, so this is the side I want to show. So I'm actually going to fold the two ends together. So those bumps, these guys are going to be sticking out. Okay, because we're going to sew it all together, and then we're going to flip it inside out, so the right side of the hat is on the good side. So I'm going to grab a stitch marker. And I'm going to take the top here, and I'm just going to line it up. And I'm just going to put the stitch marker to hold the top together, just like that. So now, let me get this out of the way. Okay, so adding it all together and just lining it up a little bit. Okay, so you're going to take your tapestry needle and the thread, and you're going to go into both stitches like that. Pull it through, and then you're going to go into the next stitch beside it. And this loop is going to lay on top. So you're just doing stitch to stitch over and over. So going into that stitch there, pulling it through. There's many different ways that you guys can do this. This is just the one that I'm doing. And it worked out pretty good for the first hat that I did. So continue doing it this way all the way to the top. And then when I get to the top, I'll show you what I do, and then we'll finish it up. Okay, so I finished the sewing, and I got to the top here. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to weave it in and out of the stitches just to make sure that it's like nice and secure. And then I'm going to tie these two together just to make sure, again, it's nice and secure. So your stitching doesn't need to be fancy or perfect. Okay, so now we're going to flip it inside out. Okay, so here it is finished. And those little cute ruffles. Isn't that adorable? I hope that you guys enjoyed this video and thank you for joining me. I would love to see your finished product. If you guys want to send it to the email, I'll put it in the description down below. If you guys finish the pattern, that would be awesome. I just hope that I helped you guys in reading the pattern and understanding a little bit of it. If you guys would like me to do more of these Yarnspirations free patterns, just let me know, and I would love to try new patterns with you guys. Thanks again, and have a good morning, evening, and night. Bye!